Okay, let's unpack this one. Today, we're taking a deep dive into the story of a business owner, how they built their company, and really the absolutely crucial role of, working with people, networking.
Right. We've got a good mix of sources here. Articles, blog posts, even some YouTube video transcripts featuring Dennis D'Entremont, who owns Southwest Tech Solutions.
Yeah, and the goal here for this deep dive is really to get into his story, understand the path he took, and pull out those lessons learned, especially around building a business through relationships.
Exactly. And how he approaches networking is particularly interesting because he actually identifies as an introvert. We'll also touch on, the services his business actually provides locally.
So think of this as getting under the hood, not just of the tech side of an IT business, but how that human element, connection, trust, how that can really drive growth, especially in B2B and in smaller communities. So where does this story kick off?
Well, according to the sources, the interest sparked early, like back in high school. Dennis was apparently the go-to guy in the neighborhood for computer problems.
He wasn't just fixing things either, was he? I love this bit selling dial-up accounts just to pay for his own internet. That's some early hustle right there.
It definitely shows something, yeah. Even if he didn't jump straight into it. The sources mentioned a few detours after high school.
Right, like the carpet cleaning business.
Yeah, bought out a local business, but that didn't last. Then a few months at university, wasn't really feeling it. And even a couple of years lobster fishing. He realized pretty quick that wasn't for him either.
So, a bit of a winding road before landing back where he started, interest-wise, in tech. And the sources really point to his decision to get formal training, right? Tech school in Halifax, 2003.
Information Systems Administration. And that really kicked off, well, nearly 20 years of pretty diverse IT experience. First gig was a work placement at Dalhousie University,
Okay, Dalhousie. What was he doing there?
working with Novell Systems, redesigning their printing setup, even some web authoring.
Ugh.
Pretty hands-on stuff.
Then he moved to a national IT company, working on NS Power
That's
contracts.
right, deploying like hundreds of computers across Nova Scotia. So dealing with scale.
Definitely.
After that, 2004, he joined the Provincial Government Help Desk. That seems like where he got really grounded in, end user support, desktop support, solving everyday tech headaches for people.
Dealing directly with users, yeah. He moved around in government roles until about 2008, then headed back home to Yarmouth County.
hmm Took a temporary retail data job first, sources say, while figuring things out. Then landed a full-time IT role at Register.com, which eventually became Web.com.
Ah, web.com. And this sounds like a pretty key period.
It really does.
Yeah.
He got certified in VoIP, voice over IP, internet phone systems,
Yeah.
and was managing network infrastructure across different sites, even traveling down to Jacksonville, Florida a few times to build out new phone systems. That's pretty significant infrastructure work.
Big picture stuff. He left web.com in 2012, and then there was a break.
Yeah, about 10 months away from IT, apparently.
But tech pulled him back in.
It's like it.
Yeah.
A former colleague reached out, which led him to work for companies partnering with Interactive Intelligence, later became Genesis. And this stretch from 2012, basically right up to late 2023, he was in roles focused on complex VoIP contact center stuff.
Doing what exactly?
All sorts support, management, project lead roles, and even ended up as a Tier 3 support engineer.
Tier 3. Okay, so for
Yeah.
anyone not in IT, that's like the top level, right? Handling the really tough problems nobody else can figure out.
Exactly. So you're looking at almost 2 decades building up this deep experience from basic help desk all the way to complex enterprise systems and specialized VoIP. Then December 2023 happens.
Right, the layoff, which the sources say was unexpected.
Yeah, but he mentions he took it reasonably okay, partly because he built up some financial stability, which is, fortunate. Didn't have that immediate pressure to just grab the first job available.
And that unexpected turn seems to be the catalyst, the final push, maybe, towards starting his own thing.
It looks that way. He was talking to a friend who runs a similar IT business, and this friend apparently pointed out a real need, a gap for reliable local IT support back in the Yarmouth area.
Interesting. So that sparked some research.
His own market research confirmed it. Local businesses were often struggling to find consistent, trustworthy tech help that went beyond just, basic computer repair. And with his background, especially enterprise IT and VoIP, he saw he could fill that specific niche.
He also got some official support, the SE program.
Yeah, it's the Self-Employment Benefits Program, run provincially through CBDC, Community Business Development Corporations. He applied and got accepted, starting in April 2024. That gave him funding, resources, training. basically support to get launched.
So what was his vision then for Southwest Tech Solutions?
Pretty clear from the sources. It's about value-added services. Not just fixing stuff, but actually improving efficiency, maybe lowering costs for businesses, offering tailored solutions because he understands different businesses have different needs, something he learned over those 20 years.
And all built on top-notch customer service.
Absolutely, that seems foundational.
Okay, so that's the journey. Kid fixing computers, some detours, DIT career, then the pivot after a layoff. But what really jumps out from these sources isn't just the tech skills, it's this heavy, heavy emphasis on networking and relationships.
Yeah, it's fascinating how central it is to his strategy, especially for B2B, and especially in a smaller rural area like his. The sources really stress that in his community, people want to know who they're dealing with. Trust is just everything.
He even gives examples from his career, right? How loyalty is often to the person, not the company logo. Customers following IT guys they trust when they move jobs.
Totally. And he sees it now himself, like customers texting him directly for help instead of going through, formal channels, that kind of direct connection.
It speaks volumes. And for businesses, he makes the point that trust and reliability in your IT support are worth way more than saving a few bucks an hour.
Oh, absolutely. If things go wrong because you hired the wrong company, the cost and lost business time, lost productivity, it dwarfs any savings on the service fee.
Right. He contrasts that personal connection with like the anonymity you get online. Seeing a face, having a conversation, it builds that trust and makes you stand out.
Exactly. And efficiency ties into value too.
Yeah.
It's not just the hourly rate, it's how fast he can fix something. 1 hour at $100 is the same cost as 2 hours at $50, sure. But if your business is down during that extra hour, the faster fix actually saves you money.
Makes sense. So his approach isn't about getting tons of clients then?
No, not volume. The sources describe it as aiming for fewer but higher quality customer relationships, really forged through that trust and personal connection.
So, okay, if that's the focus, how does he actually do it? How does he build these connections?
Well, the sources list specific things. Local business meetups, Chamber of Commerce events, getting involved with local organizations like employment services groups.
Yeah.
Just being present in the community.
And the results. What's actually worked for him?
This really stood out to me. He says word of mouth and referrals are the only things that have brought in significant business so far.
Wow, only those, compared to traditional ads.
Yeah, things like radio or newspaper ads apparently haven't yielded much at all. It really highlights how powerful that relationship-first approach is for him.
It absolutely does. He also mentions going the extra mile, over-delivering.
Right. Which isn't just about being nice. It strategically builds those tight connections, makes customers feel secure and less likely to leave just because someone else offers a slightly lower price.
And reliability comes down to being responsive and transparent.
Like if a fix is taking longer than expected, he proactively contacts the customer, manages expectations. He contrasts that with businesses that might have hidden fees or, online models where you have to pay extra for the real support.
So what about things like having a website, SEO? Does that play a role?
He acknowledges it's important, yeah. But mostly, it helps people find him after they've already heard his name or his business name through word of mouth. It's more like validation, reinforcing the trust signal they got from the referral.
Gotcha. And being local is obviously a big plus.
Huge advantage. He can actually meet customers face-to-face, grab a coffee, work side by side at their office. You just can't replicate that easily if you're not local.
Okay, this all sounds really effective, focusing on relationships, being present. But the sources also mention he identifies as an introvert, sometimes deals with social anxiety. How does someone like that navigate all this networking?
Yeah, this is where it gets really practical and I think helpful for a lot of people listening. He basically says he pushes past that discomfort because it's for the business. He finds that if he can just get over that initial, hurdle of starting a conversation, he often ends up actually enjoying the interaction.
It's like the anticipation is worse than the reality sometimes.
Exactly. That feeling before you make a phone call you're dreading or something.
So the video source actually distilled some specific tips from his experience. Let's maybe unpack those a bit. Starting locally seems key.
Yeah, tip number 1. Start with local social events, business meetups, Chamber of Commerce stuff, familiar ground.
And tied to that is just start. Even if it's uncomfortable, it gets easier, apparently.
Practice helps. Another big one, approach people with genuine curiosity. Don't lead with your sales pitch. Ask about them.
What they do, their business. Yeah. Which leads to the next point. figure out their problems or needs first. Then you can maybe offer a tailored solution if it fits.
Right. You can't tailor anything if you don't know what they need. And use simple icebreakers if you're stuck, the event itself, their name tag, maybe some news about their company.
Good point. And after you connect, follow up quickly and reliably.
That reliability piece comes up again and again. So you're serious. And this next one's interesting. Sometimes offer free service or value, like fixing a small computer issue for someone you met.
Doesn't sound very businesslike initially, does it?
Maybe not. But the idea is it builds trust, demonstrates competence, and can lead to bigger things or referrals later. It's playing the long game.
Okay. What about joining a conversation already in progress?
Advice is, be kind, listen first, wait for an opening. Don't just barge in. Read the room.
And talk to everyone, not just people who look like potential clients.
Yeah. Anyone could be a referral source. And try to just enjoy the human connection, not see everyone as just a potential sale.
Finally, how to stay motivated, because putting yourself out there can be draining.
Reflect on the small wins. Did you have a good conversation? Meet someone interesting. Get a potential lead. Acknowledge those successes, not just sign contracts.
Yeah.
It helps keep you going.
Beyond those specific tips, the interview dialogue really emphasizes listening, doesn't it? Understanding the real problem, not just the surface issue.
Absolutely. Asking questions is crucial because, as he says, the better you know a business, the better you can actually help them.
And that responsiveness thing, answering emails promptly, it seems small, but it builds that fundamental trust and reliability.
Definitely. And you can see how his confidence has grown, partly from practice, partly from looking back at successes, relationships he's built, knowing people value his expertise.
Navigating events gets easier too, apparently, starting with people you know, getting introduced, using those simple icebreakers, and realizing everyone at a business event kind of expects to talk to new people.
Right. It lowers the pressure a bit. And that point about everyone being a potential referral source really shifts the mindset, doesn't it? It's not just about direct sales.
It's about building a network of goodwill, having genuine interest in others. He even talks about the good karma of giving free advice. Sometimes it just feels good to help.
And he finds networking much less stressful and more effective than, say, cold calling. People get to know him first.
Which also means recognizing when someone isn't a good fit. He's willing to refer people elsewhere, right? To his friend or that cybersecurity specialist he knows.
Exactly. It's not just about getting the sale. It's about making sure the person gets the right help. It really comes back to being about the people.
So what not to do based on his observations?
Pretty straightforward. Don't be pushy. Don't interrupt or just interject constantly. And don't talk too much and listen too little. Classic networking mistakes.
Right. Okay, so it's clear how relationships and reliability underpin everything, leveraging his tech background. Let's quickly cover the actual services Southwest Tech Solutions offers.
Sure. So it's a small IT shop based in Yarmouth County, Nova Scotia, serving the Tri-County area. They do both on-site, going to the customer, and remote support.
Covering the basics, computers, email.
Yeah, computers, email, websites. For businesses, the focus is keeping everything running. Computers, networks, phones, systems. He offers these business bundles, which sound like customizable packages, value-added, tailored solutions, moving beyond just break-fix.
And they help residential customers, too.
Help with computers, printers, tablets, phones, even smart TVs. Sort of the whole home tech setup.
And leveraging his background, the specialized areas are VoIP phone systems and networking.
Exactly. And they also do website and hosting packages. He mentioned this fills a local need for affordable web design.
What do those include?
Basic sites, usually on WordPress. Package includes the domain name, unlimited email addresses, the design itself, linking social media. Sources mention 1, 3, or 5-year package options, clear pricing. Setup charges might apply, but there's always a free initial consultation.
Okay, so a solid range of essential IT services for businesses and individuals delivered with that personal touch.
Yeah, it all seems to tie together the deep tech skills married with that focus on trust and connection.
Definitely. It's a really coherent model.
Absolutely. His whole journey and approach really show how those two things, tech skill and human connection, aren't separate. They're woven together.
Okay, so wrapping up this deep dive then, what are the really big takeaways for you from Dennis d'Entremont's story?
For me, it's seeing how he leveraged that really diverse, almost 2 decades of IT experience from a pretty winding path, and combined that with this absolute commitment to trust and genuine human connection as the foundation for his business. especially doing B2B in a local community.
Yeah, and for me, it's those practical, hard-won networking lessons, especially coming from someone who identifies as an introvert. That idea that prioritizing listening, being genuinely curious, just being reliable, that can be way more powerful than any hard sell. The sources make it so clear. Word of mouth, built on those relationships, is what's actually working for him.
It really leaves you thinking, doesn't it?
Yeah.
In this world that's getting more digital, sometimes more anonymous,
Mm.
how much could focusing on real human connection, truly listening, building that trust locally or in your niche, how much could that be the most powerful technology you have?
That's a great thought to end on. If you want to learn more about Dennis and Southwest Tech Solutions, the sources mention his website, sosolutions.ca. You can apparently find him on LinkedIn too.
Right, and the website mentions a newsletter you can sign up for, plus phone and email contacts are right there if you want to reach out.